Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to Starfield, the latest offering from Bethesda Game Studios, the studio that brought us the buggy but enjoyable Skyrim, the buggy but enjoyable Fallout 4, and the unmitigated dumpster fire that was Fallout 76. I didn't pre-order it, didn't buy it at the early access, I waited until the day of release so I could at least see the day one reviews.
Seals are good, oxygen's good. Just do what you did last time, and you're fine. Follow my one simple rule. Hella, what's my one simple rule?
Listen to Lynn. Boss lady knows best.
Exactly. Listen to me. Mining's just like any other job. Go steady, go safe, go home with a pocket full of credits at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, I work in the Stardock. Except, with more cave-ins, lasers, and accidental dismemberment.
Very helpful. Thank you.
You're gonna be fine. Your first outing was...
I have to say, and you'll see why as the video progresses,
That's why I keep
I'm not sure whether or not I want to say it's better than I thought it would be, or it's exactly as good as I thought it would be. I mean, it's definitely not worse than I was expecting. I mean, Bethesda wouldn't do that to us twice in a row, surely. And they definitely haven't. But my expectations were set pretty low after Fallout 76, so in that regard it is definitely way better than I was expecting. But having seen the promotional material for Starfield and the amount of hype surrounding it, it did also have some fairly big expectations to live up to. Although this time around Bethesda have been careful to be as honest as possible about exactly what the game is going to deliver, and in that regard, at least in my admittedly limited experience of Starfield thus far, I mean, I've only just installed the thing, I haven't spent an awful lot of time in it, but it does appear to deliver exactly what they said it would. I mean, everybody remembers the by now infamous clip of Todd Howard standing up at E3 in whenever it was and claiming that Fallout 76 just worked, when it very patently didn't. But Starfield does. I don't remember encountering a single bug. And this is a Bethesda game. I mean, it's still using the creation engine, but obviously, as you can see, a heavily modified and much improved version of the creation engine. But this is the... I mean, this is the software that they've been running all of their games on since Fallout 3. And you can tell, particularly when you look at the faces of the characters and when there's dialogue happening. They're still using that same tired old game engine, but modified to within an inch of its life. And while still recognisably the same engine, if you look closely enough, they've managed to make it sit up and beg. It is very impressive. And as I said, extremely surprisingly for a Bethesda Studios game, so far at least 100% bug-free. Now I realise it's possible, probably even likely, that they've polished the first couple of hours of gameplay to ensure as bug-free an experience as possible, you know, given the reputation of the games that they push out. I mean, Fallout 76 was awful. And while I loved Fallout 4, still do, and Skyrim, in all of its multiple variants and releases, neither of those two games were what anybody in their right mind would describe, even jokingly, as a bug-free experience. I mean, as enjoyable, fun, and satisfying as the early game experience of both Skyrim and Fallout 4 were, you would run into a multitude of bugs in the first 2 hours of play in both of those games. And the initial experience of both of those games, Fallout 4 in particular, are heavily scripted. I mean, both of those games pride themselves on being open-world role-playing games, and they are, just not at first. There's very little opportunity for you to go anywhere that the game developers didn't want you to go in order to ensure a seamless as possible starting experience. And I get that, that makes sense. I'm not criticising that. Generally the starting experiences of, well, certainly both Skyrim and Fallout 4 were pretty good. There wasn't an awful lot of freedom there until you reached a certain point in the game. Starfield doesn't really do that either. I mean, it kind of does. The beginning is very scripted. I mean, they've got a story to tell after all, they need to frame it properly. And you're looking at what are largely scripted events right now. But it will allow you to go off mission in a way that neither Skyrim nor Fallout 4 did. And if, as I suspect, Bethesda have polished at least the first 2 hours of the scripted experience to within an inch of its life to ensure that there are as few bugs and glitches as possible, but then they also allow you to go off script. That poses the risk that the player is going to run into a whole bunch of other stuff in the procedurally generated world that doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. And yet they let you do it anyway, which means they must be feeling, well, they either don't care, which would be the old Bethesda, or they're very, very confident about what they've achieved with Starfield.
Hella, get the readings.
Yeah, about that.
Problem?
Not if you consider a spike in gravity readings a problem.
I don't.
You don't?
What we're after, it'll read as an anomaly. That's what I was told anyway.
Okay, now you're starting to freak me out.
Relax. It's just another job. Come on.
Alright, let's cut to the chase. Basically, you're a rookie miner. This is your first day on the job. They've only just shown you how to pick up and use a laser cutter for the first time. But there's something in this mine, other than the beryllium ore, that somebody's prepared to pay a lot of money for. It might be dangerous though, and since you're easily the company's most expendable asset, you're the one who's been volunteered to go in and poke it with a stick. Oh, great. Yeah, it doesn't pay to be the new guy around here.
Hey, come on. Okay, take it easy. You were out cold. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
Ah, right, yeah. The character creation process. So, I mean, that's exactly what you'd expect of a modern game. There's a huge range of customization options, and this is what I came up with.
I forgot Explorer was on your application. Must have been slow work when you don't have a ship. Well, you got the sample. Client's on his way, then we all get paid. You remember anything that happened?
Don't want to end up as a lab experiment, so I'm admitting nothing.
Well, makes the paperwork easier, and we got what we were looking for.
All this trouble for that stupid thing? Huh, sure don't look like much.
Never mind what it looks like. It's worth more than this mine has pulled in all month. We'll be... Speak of the devil.
Right, so the buyer has arrived. This is where things go a little bit sideways, in more ways than one. I do have to say the music and sound design in this game is very, very good. And it's often an overlooked feature of a game, but it can add immeasurably to the atmosphere. In fact, I can hear the ship right now. Where is it? There it is. Whoever's driving that ship, you can turn your engines off and stop destroying the landing pad any time. There it is. It looked cool. It's fine. Right, so meet with the client. Actually, you know what? I don't want to meet the client. I want to have a look around. I'll check out the oil stains on the landing gear. Very cool. See Hella back there, just not giving a shit.
Barrett?
Man!
Been a long time.
Yes, it has. That mine on Bendy, right?
Kazal, hellhole, like this place. Rare mineral contract. Your tastes are a bit more sophisticated now, huh?
So, you found something?
Right here. The new guy found it.
That right. And everything went cool? Just like grabbing those minerals on Bendy?
Kazal, and no Barrett, not cool. He passed out after the extraction. Doesn't even remember what happened.
Is that right, cowboy? Went on a trip, huh?
Oh, great, Lynn. Thanks for blabbing.
That fun, huh? Not the most gentle push into the great mysteries of space, but hey, been there.
Look, just hand over the credits, and I'll be happy to never see this thing, or you, ever again.
That's why I like you, Lynn. All business.
Barrett, the scanners on the frontier are reporting a ship coming in hot from orbit.
I really thought I lost them.
Barrett?
Oh, wonderful. This clown shoe led a bunch of pirates right to us. Here's my one criticism of this tutorial. Lynn's busy yelling that everybody needs to stick to cover, but the game hasn't yet shown me how to take cover. I mean, this would be a good point. If you have cover mechanics in Starfield, this would be a really good time to demonstrate them. I can't remember which. I mean, it's a Bethesda game. So crouching is either going to be C or control. But is it hold C or control, or is it just... So anyways, I just started blasting. Oh, you sneaky. Oh, and I'm out of ammo. In the cover. This pistol doesn't take too long to reload, although it's not terribly effective. And you know what? The combat's alright. I mean, Call of Duty Warzone certainly doesn't have anything to worry about, but it's alright. It's at least as good as the combat was in Fallout 4. In fact, with the addition of the floating nameplate and health indicators over the enemies, it's damn sight better than the combat in Fallout 4. Actually reminds me a bit of Elite Odyssey. How many more of these buggers up? There's one. Hold still so I can kill you. Oh, somebody's opening up on him with a laser cut. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Oh, don't want to hide behind anything that explodes. That'll do. Oh my god. Top tip, learn this one the hard way. Do not start running in the middle of a reload animation. Because it interrupts the reload. That got a bit emotional. Right. Actually, you know, before I talk to Barrett, this is a Bethesda game. It's an RPG. Yeah, you can loot the bodies. Oh, that's a dead miner. And so is that. That's why they've got axes and laser cutters. Okay, what about the pirates? Ooh. I don't know what a maelstrom is, but I'm having it. Probably better than a laser cutter. Oh, an assault spacesuit. Probably better than what I'm wearing too. Yeah, another dead miner. More stuff off the dead pirates. Any other bodies? Oh, there was a couple of plugged over here, isn't there? Oh, these are the assault rifles they were using. Oh, some rare loot. Technician's ground crew spacesuit. Huh. That's new. They didn't have different loot categories in Skyrim or Fallout 4. That's more the sort of thing you associate with something like World of Warcraft. You know, common, uncommon, rare, and epic loot. Let's take a look, see what benefits it gives. So here's our inventory. That's the pistol I'm using. I have a rescue axe, a shank, the cutter, and yeah, the maelstrom. Bunch of those. Those are the pirate assault rifles. Oh, here we go. Spacesuits. Technician's ground crew spacesuit. It's less physical resistance. I mean, the mining spacesuit isn't that bad, but this has better thermal and corrosive protection. So that's a thing, and it doesn't look that bad either. Actually, all of the stuff looks really, really good, because that was a thing in Skyrim and Fallout. You could tell somebody was wearing poor quality armor because it just looked terrible. So, but that's not the case here. Everything looks Really clean and futuristic and utilitarian, regardless of what the statistics on it might actually be. Anyway, let's crack on. There's a plot that needs to happen.
Of course Barrett was being followed. Every time.
Now that was some fine work under pressure. You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions? You're coming with me to Constellation. You're part of this now.
Hang on a minute. No, I'm not. I mean, I've never even heard of your group. Why would I listen to you?
Hey, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but we don't exactly know what the artifact might have done to your head, and Constellation is really the only group qualified to help.
What, I'm just supposed to take your word for it?
No. You think you're just going to take off after the mess you caused?
All right. I guess I did just put you all on the Crimson Fleet hit list. How about I stay and I send your Dusty here in my place? I know, but he's not some miner anymore, Lynn.
Yes, I am.
Soon as he touched that rock, something changed. Don't tell me you can't feel it.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Fine. It's a deal.
What do you mean it's a deal?
Get out of here, Dusty. You're on to bigger things.
No, I'm not. This is not my job. I'm a miner.
Don't you get it? You don't have a job here anymore. You're with those explorers now. Like it or not. Just go, all right? Figure out what happened to you when you touched that rock.
I'll sue you for unfair dismissal.
that's
No, it's not settled.
Get into the lodge.
It
No
is very,
deviations
very
unless
not settled.
absolutely necessary,
Hello,
okay?
can anybody hear me?
Protocol Indigo.
I'm right here.
Indigo. Again. Very well.
Oh, and hey, take this. You'll find it very useful out there. And it even tells the time.
Well, hang on a minute. Hold your horses there, Einstein. This is not settled. I'm a contracted worker here.
Hey, look at that. The watch fits you perfectly. Now, questions?
Oh, finally. Somebody's actually realised that I'm involved in this. Yeah, I do have some questions, actually, starting with who the fuck are you, and who died and left you in charge? Although we could start with why send me, shouldn't you go?
Come on. You're really not at all curious about that light and music show you experienced?
Nope,
Why it only affected you?
nope, don't care, don't
If
give a
you
shit.
didn't notice, we've all been handling it since with no problem. The way I
Alright, so
see
some
it,
kind of
Constellation
psychic
is that
static
artifact
discharge. I don't know, and I don't
also-
care.
This mystery is only getting bigger each step we take. And you're part of it now.
Well, I beg to differ, Popeye. This all sounds really dangerous, and I want no part of it.
And Vasco, don't let him break my ship.
Why is nobody listening to me?
You going? Staying around isn't helping us out any.
Well, not to put too fine a point in it, but you just fired me, boss, so I really couldn't give a good rat's ass about what you think
Get
is
that
or isn't
artifact to
helpful.
Constellation.
Alright, I guess this is happening. Or is it? I mean, it is. But unlike in Skyrim, Fallout 4, we haven't quite passed the point of no return in the tutorial where the game takes its hands off and you're on your own. And yet we can still go off script. So I was curious to see just exactly how far I could go. See if I could break the game in any way by deliberately not doing what the game is expecting me to do. So here I am, not getting on board the ship and looking at that environment. And initially thinking, alright, this is a closed sort of starting area, you can't go off the beaten track and explore and do what you want. Well, maybe you can. Well, I'm not going to find out if I don't try. But, am I going to be able to get back here? Have they taken that into account? Because if I go jumping off these rocks and I can't get back up and onto the ship, I've basically broken the game. So let's give it a try. Didn't have to go too far before I saw something interesting. Yeah, radioactive gas vent. Does that indicate the presence of uranium deposits? Don't know. Let's head off in another direction. I haven't actually gotten that far from the base yet. It is all fairly featureless though. And that's when I noticed two things. One, yes, you can actually get back to the base. You just have to go around. And two, the game's fatigue mechanic. See the red bar that's building up down there in the bottom left of the screen? That when I stop exerting myself, diminishes, and the white bar replenishes. The white bar is your oxygen level, the red bar is your CO2 level. What seems to be happening is the more you exert yourself, the more CO2 you exhale, and the harder your suit's scrubbers have dealing with it, which puts a harder limit on how long you can exert yourself, and you have to stop and let your suit's oxygen scrubbers do... Hang on a minute, what's that? It looks like sulfur. Oh, aluminium. Huh. So even though it does look like this is a barren, featureless landscape, there are actually things that you can interact with. In fact, there's a lot more things than I originally thought, mostly because I haven't activated the scanner yet. Although, it's more likely because I have gone off script and I haven't reached the point in the tutorial where the game says, oh, by the way, planetary surveying and exploration, this is how it works. But the simple fact that even though the game hasn't yet explained to me how to do it, I am still able to do it. That's definitely a point in the game's favour. So then I thought, well, this game must have a map, right? And it does. It has lots of different maps at lots of different scales. And if you're close enough, things pop up on the map. One over there as well. Well, I'm heading in that direction anyway, so let's go and see what it is. A short while later, it's not that I can't get to whatever that unknown thing was. I mean, I might be able to. I'm just not entirely sure I'm going to be able to get back. That looks fairly impassable. Alright, fine. Let's head back the other way and see what that other unknown marker on the map was. It's on the far side of, and actually relatively close to the mining base where we started, and it didn't take me that long to get there. Location discovered, Crystal Crater. And I earned a chunk of XP. It's actually within visual range of the base, you just can't see it directly because it's inside a crater. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be anything actually useful in here. I tried lasering up some of the crystals. Nothing happened. But that's fine. I mean, I enjoy just exploring. And the fact that I can do exactly that when I'm supposed to be getting on board the ship and advancing the plot is another great point in the game's favour. And I could do this for hours. And in fact I did spend quite some time just wandering around, picking up resources and investigating stuff. But eventually at some point I'm going to have to get on board that ship. So, well played Starfield. I tried to break you and failed. You win this round. That ship does look very modular, doesn't it? There's bits bolted onto the side of the fuselage.
The ramp, Captain. I'll be in the external robotics
bay. I'm the captain now, am I? Okay. So does that mean you're going to obey my orders, or are you going to take me straight back to where it was that Barrett told you to take me straight back to? It was a while ago, I've forgotten. Well, let's find out. Nothing else lootable. Let's actually board the ship. So, again, very, very similar to Fallout 4. Loading screens whenever you...
I assume you know how to fly a Class A starship. As Barrett likes to say, it's as easy as learning to ride a bike. I will attempt to boost the shields, just in case there are any difficulties.
I have no idea how to fly... What did he call it? A Class A starship? Haven't got a clue. Hopefully you're going to show me. Let's have a quick look around first, though. Oh, check that out. That's actually really good. The bungee cords securing the stowages. That's actually a thing on board ships, because ships move and roll around a lot. Starships probably even more so, and you don't want stuff in stowages flying around when you make unexpected maneuvers, so... Yeah, that's cool. They get a point for that. So what else is in here? Let's have a look around. I mean, it's not a particularly big ship. I'm getting Mandalorian Razor Crest vibes from this thing. Oh, a research station. Can I use this? I can use it. I don't know what it does. So let's see. Oh, we have a bunch of available projects. So Yeah, weaponry. Why not? Oh, so this is where you can mod and upgrade all kinds of things. A number of them are blocked, which probably means I need to spend skill points in the relevant skill. Kind of in the same way that you upgrade and mod weapons and armor in Fallout 4, I imagine. Oh, I have some aluminum. Oh my god, I'm not American. I have some aluminium. Oh, but I don't have any nickel. Okay. I need sealant. Ah, fine, whatever. Apparently I have 1 sealant, but I need 3. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to actually be able to use the research station this early on in the game, but the fact that it at least lets me start, again, another good point in the game's favour. So, where's the bridge? Or cockpit? A number of different crew stations. I have no idea what any of them do, but this is the pilot's chair. Now here's the thing about Starfield. Space travel is not like Elite or Star Citizen.
Shields ready. The rest is up to you.
I can exit the ship, I can get out of the pilot's chair, or I can press the takeoff button. At which point, you get a scripted sequence. You don't actually have control over the ship until you get it into orbit. There's no flying around the planet looking for points of interest. You can land at specific points and take off from specific points, and that's it. But to be fair to Bethesda, they never pretended it was going to be any different. They have at least done a pretty good job of managing everyone's expectations this time around. And while all of this does look kind of complicated, it really isn't. Mouse control, just you chase the mouse cursor around to determine the direction of the ship, speed up and slow down with W and S, you roll with A and D, and at the bottom left of the screen you can see the power allocation of the various different ship systems in pretty much exactly the same way that they do it in Elite Dangerous. The cool thing is it does allow you to skip this entire spacecraft handling tutorial if you've done it before, maybe this is your second playthrough, and then get straight to space combat, where you get jumped by another one of those Crimson Fleet pirate ships. And this is where you learn, if you didn't know it already from playing games like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, that energy weapons like your lasers are best employed to batter down a target's shields, and if you want to actually do hull damage you should switch to ballistic weapons or missiles. I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking here, none of this is terribly original, but it feels good. Everything... I'm going to get crucified for saying this. I can feel Todd Howard sitting on my shoulder saying, go on, it's okay, you can say it. Alright Todd, fair enough. You win this one. It does all just work. Oh, also, salvage. So, yeah. Right, okay, well, anyway. Starship handling tutorial done. Turns out we can't actually leave this system yet and go to where the plot is happening because yada yada yada, whatever reasons, we have to go and eliminate a pirate captain first. So, 1, landing on the planet, cutscene / loading screen later. Hello, there was a ship taken off over there. Should I be concerned about that? Actually, that was curious, because the interior of your ship is a separate location. You have to go through a loading screen to get into and out of the ship. But what was happening outside of the ship, viewed from inside the ship, which is technically a separate instance to what's going on outside of the ship, was still happening when I... Oh, what are they? They don't look too dangerous, but I've seen rad roaches before. Alright, I'm fine. Okay, gravity here seems to be lower than the planet that I was on, and whatever that is, I can't laser it and extract resources from it. Completely different environment. I mean, it's still a barren hellscape, but it's a different barren... Ooh, what's that? Press F to bring up the scanner. Ah. So this is an integral part of the exploration side of this game. You see on the left side of the screen it's saying there are 3 fauna, 3 flora and 8 resources available for survey on this planet. And yeah, that's a very unhappy Crete I'm on the planet Crete, by the way, or possibly it's a moon, and that's a stalker. So Crete stalker. It's saying 13% scanned. That doesn't mean I've only scanned 13% of that stalker. I've scanned 100% of that stalker. but that stalker might not be representative of the Crete stalker species. 1 is not a large enough sample size. I'm going to need to scan more to get that to 100%. Yeah, makes sense. It's exactly the same way they do it in Elite Dangerous. Anyway, more on that later, because there is actually a little more to it, and it's actually pretty clever. But for now, the plot needs to happen. We have to go and deal with the pirate captain. And he, or possibly she, or maybe even they, them. The game, actually, in the character creation screen, it does allow you to pick your pronouns. So, whatever the gender of the pirate captain, they're inside this building and they need to be dealt with. And it was while I was on my way to do that, after carving my way through various different pirate minions, that I came across something really interesting. Not the dead scientist. This facility is a research outpost that the Crimson Pirate Fleet have taken over after slaughtering all of the inhabitants. No, a couple of things. First, this Terramorph specimen. An email from one of the former researchers talking about this Terramorph specimen that killed 6 and crippled 1 of the 8 Marine squad that captured it. I want you to remember that. The Terramorph. It's going to be important later. Anyway, pirate captain. On the roof of the facility apparently, and not alone, but oh, what's that behind them? Is that an explosive container? I do believe it is. Yeah, you liked that, don't you, bitches? Didn't kill the captain though. Unfortunately, it appears that, I think the white bar is the shield, but they recovered. Oh, and reinforcements. Okay. Go on, Vasco. Let's get out and into... Oh, actually, no, there isn't actually any cover whatsoever out here. Vasco, get out the way! Yes, unfortunately, one thing that hasn't improved over Skyrim is the quality of the AI companions. They still get in your way, and they're just as bad as they were in Skyrim. But at least they haven't gotten any worse. I realise that may sound like faint praise. At least it hasn't gotten any worse. But not getting any worse is actually a major achievement given the current state of the modern AAA games industry. I mean, look at Far Cry. Look at Battlefield. Look at any EA Sports game released in the last 10 years. Will you die, please? Also, where is reinforcements? I'm getting kind of worried about him. Oh, is he dead? Have I got him? Not quite. Oh shit. Oh shit. Out of ammo. Switch weapons. Finish him. Don't know why he exploded when he died, but at least I'm alive. Vasco, you're in the way again. Vasco, we'll get... Wait. Why did... Vasco, fuck off. Oh my god. Okay, a couple of things. First I'm going to loot the body. Ooh, more rare loot. Secondly, Vasco, get out the way. Thirdly, those reinforcements that got dropped off that I was so concerned about. What are they doing over there? I'm pretty sure they got dropped off on the landing pad. So, why are they over there? I mean, I'm not complaining, because then I didn't have to deal with them, but I think this may count as a bug. But if it is, it's the first one I've seen, so we're already leagues ahead of Fallout 76. Well, anyway. I mean, they're worth experience, I've got plenty of ammunition, and they might drop some fat loot, and this is an RPG after all, so primarily for the experience, because I want to level up, I'm going to kill them. And I'm going to do it with a fancy new gun that I got from the pirate captain. Oh, look at that, he's injured and he's trying to crawl off into cover. I don't think I've ever seen that in a Bethesda game before. Where's he? Oh, there he is. Well, anyway, cut a long story short, dealt with the reinforcements, and then I thought, again, instead of just doing what the game expects me to do and head back to the ship and then carry on with the plot, let's go and do a bit of exploration. So, apparently, amongst other things on this planet, there are 3 species of flora. And that dust root over there, and that dust root over there, is one of them. Now, scanning the first one of these things doesn't reveal an awful lot of resources because of the small sample size. But as soon as I scanned the second one, it revealed that the resource contained within these things is fibre. So if I'm in need of fibre, I should go looking for dust roots. Now, as I increase the sample size, it'll reveal more and more information about the thing that I'm scanning. There are also 8 resources available on this planet. And I've just found a 5th. Neon gas from this vent. Clearly the laser cutter isn't actually getting me any kind of sample, so I'm going to require some kind of tool that I don't have yet. As you collect more and more samples and expand your sample size, more and more information is revealed. Like, for example, as well as having fibre, I now know that the dust root only grows in volcanic biomes, and I get a bunch of information about its genetics. Now, that's not terribly useful, at least not as far as the dust root's concerned, but also notice on the left side of the screen it's saying 1 of 3 flora fully scanned, but this biome's complete. Which means that there are 2 other species of flora native to this planet, but I'm not going to find them in this volcanic biome. So that's the basics of how scanning, sampling and surveying works. And while the information that I collected about the dust root wasn't particularly interesting or useful, it's still worth trying to get complete scans of everything native to the planets that you find yourselves on, because in a lot of cases it is going to be very, very useful. Stuff that's good to know, particularly if it's things that you're fighting or that are trying to kill you. Like the creep grazers here. Sample size is still kind of small. I've only got 25% of the full samples, but I now already know that their temperament is wary, which basically means they won't attack you unless they feel threatened. But as I improve my sample size and get the scan closer to 100%, I'll learn other things about them. For example, I can get antimicrobial resources from them. I'll only find them in mountains or volcanic regions. And as I collect further scans and improve my sample size, I can find out how much health they have, and also that their attacks deplete your oxygen levels. That's useful to know. Sometime later... Ow! Do you remember that message I came across in that research lab? The one that the pirates had taken over? About, yeah, the yeah, that's the Terramorph.
I am not sure why.
And it's really bad-tempered. I was wandering around, you know, as you do, and there was another, like, unknown location popped up. That's why I went to investigate. And it was, a civilian outpost. I thought, oh, fantastic, maybe I can do some trading. That would be no. Not that the civilians were unfriendly, but the Terramorph had eaten all of them. Now it's trying to eat me. And it's a big bugger. Here's the problem. I mean, I'll quite happily run away from it, because right now I'm completely out of ammunition and all I have is a knife. But Vasco, my robot companion, he wants to fight it. So it won't stop following. And I can't fast travel back to my ship while I'm in combat. Here's the thing, if this was Skyrim or Fallout 4, this wouldn't be much of a problem, because you just wait for the Terramorph to beat your companion to death. Keep running, wait for the sounds of violent dismemberment to cease, and then go back and give them a healing potion or whatever. But that isn't going to work here, because Vasco is basically indestructible. So my theory right now is to just try to keep running and hope that the Terramorph is got like a tether to the location where he spawns from and won't run too far. Oh shit, he's right behind me, isn't he? It's not much of a plan, but it's the only one I've got. Oh, it's not the Terramorph, it's the Crete Stalker. Did I mention I'm out of ammo and I've only got a shank? And also, I'm out of stamina. Wow. This is a rare weapon though. It does more damage with consecutive... Wow. It's actually... Hell's Bells. Level 3. Oh, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, good news. The Terramorph has gotten tired of trying to beat Vasco to death. I mean, you saw how quickly he took out the Crete Stalker, and he was barely denting the hide of the Terramorph. I don't think I'm going to go back and investigate that civilian outpost after all. I think I'm done for now. Yeah, I think that's enough exploring for one day, chaps. I can take a hint. Let's get back to the ship and get on with the plot. But the sheer fact that the game just let me do it, I mean, it didn't say, no, you can't go there. It didn't throw up any invisible walls. It just said, yeah, fine. On your head be it. That is definitely another point in this game's favour. So, Starfield, the day one experience, and just the day one experience, by the way. I can't comment on the game as a whole because I haven't played the game as a whole, but as far as the day one experience is concerned, is it perfect? No, of course not. Is it the best game Bethesda have pushed out in the last 15 years? Again, just based on the day one experience. I really think it might be. And again, I can feel Todd Howard sitting on my shoulder saying, go on, you can say it. But it really does just work. I'm looking forward to many hours, not just following the plot, but going off the beaten track and just trying to find all of those subplots and side quests and hidden Easter eggs that litter Bethesda games. Because if things like that Terramorph are any kind of example of the kind of completely random and incidental stuff that's just waiting to happen to you while you play this game, I'm hooked. Shut up and take my money. So, the Starfield Day 1 experience. Good job, Bethesda. Honestly, it's nice to have you back. It's been far too long. Take care, folks, and I'll catch you next time.